Welcome back. Now, whether you're a business or you're running someone else's business or you're trying to grow a brand, etc., you'll want to make sure that you're really making progress. And now that you know how to read the majority of the most important reports from the data that you're getting, it's time to learn how to see those individual reports changes over time. That's going to indicate if you in fact are progressing or not. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Let's dive in. So the first thing we're going to do is move over to acquisition, and then we're going to go to all traffic and then channels. Now we've been here before, and this was one of the ways to find out how much traffic you are in fact getting. Now the thing is, you don't want to need to memorize this number or write this number down individually in order to figure out if you are making more traffic month by month, year by year. Now that is going to be the real sign of progress. Are you having more users this month compared to the previous year? Are you having more users month by month? How are you actually doing? You know the amount, but what about the changes to the amount that indicates if you're making progress or in fact if you are moving backwards, if you are regressing? So the way to find this out is very simple. First of all, we go up to the date ranges once again. We make sure that, well, let's start at a month as usual. And then all we need to do is check this little box right here that says compare to. So we're going to start off by comparing to the previous period. And that means that if you've set 1 month as a period here, then it's going to compare to the previous month. If you had set 7 days, it would compare to the previous 7 days, etc. But let's start off like this and hit apply. So this is where the data gets really interesting. Not only are you going to get a chart here where you can see the changes month by month and realize that the blue chart is going to be September, where we currently are, and then we have the orange, which indicates, which we can see here, the previous period, being the previous month right now. We can see there are some different changes. We're getting some even better statistics here. We can see that compared to the previous month, we're actually up by the total amount of users by 7.46%. This is really great. Now we have to understand that different businesses have different seasons, meaning different amounts of users and different revenues. So you need to understand your own business. So comparing month by month, generally, depending on your business, isn't the best way to see progress. The best way to see progress is to see how were you doing the previous year. And in order to do that, all we need to do is go up to the date ranges here once again and change this compared to, is in custom, to previous year. Okay? Hit that and then click on apply. And now this is where we're getting some serious data. So we're comparing this specific month, 2021, to this same month, 2020. Okay, very powerful. Should you set different date ranges here, let's say 2 months or 3 months, you would compare those 2 or 3 months compared to the previous year. Now scrolling down, this is where we're getting some seriously interesting statistics and sign of progress or regress. And the first thing we can see is that compared to the previous year, we're actually up by 25% of total users. We can see down here in the tiny text that in the previous year this month, we had made a total of 44,733 people visiting our sites. This month, this year, we have had 55,984. So we have a 25% increase. That's huge. That's the best possible sign of progress. Now we can see that we have a lot of new users, which is really great for business. We have a lot more sessions. Here's a problem though. We have an increase in bounce rate, and we're not talking about a small increase either. We're talking about a pretty big increase, 14.26%. And as always, you need to ask the question why when you're looking at the data. We have many new users, and with new users comes more bounce rate, but it shouldn't necessarily need to be like that if you're targeting your audience correctly. We want to see the bounce rate decrease, not increase. We can also see that we're down with the pages per session and the average session duration, okay? But we're making a lot more money, which is really great. We can see that we're up quite a bit when it comes to the revenue, which is crazy. Okay, so we're getting all of these statistics compared to the previous year, and there's no better way to check for progress. Now realize that we've gone through a majority of the most important statistics in these different reports, so you can make this comparison month by month or year by year in any of the reports that we have just been learning about earlier in this course. So let's say, for example, that we want to go to behavior and we want to go down to site content, and let's check out all pages. Now, by keeping this checked in like this, I'm already getting a compared to the previous year statistics available. I need to go in and uncheck this to go back to the normal data that we had before. So it's very easy to navigate through the different reports and see the progress or regress that you're currently making. So here's one of those things that we've been seeing signs of when we've been going through this course. We see that the website is doing really well. They're selling a lot with their merch. We see an increase in page views, unique page views. That's great. The average time on page is looking great. But here's where things get interesting though. The bounce rate has gone up, and we've seen that the main issue has been on the homepage. People are exiting more from there. It's showing signs of a high bounce rate. It's showing signs of a lower average time spent. So if we go down and look at the homepage, which is right here, and we get some specific information compared to year by year, we can see that in 2021, the current year, the current date on the homepage, we have a bounce rate of 51.59%. In the previous year, in this date range, in this month, this period, the bounce rate just 1 year ago was 37.1%. That's a huge increase, a huge increase in bounce rate on the homepage. So we've increased the bounce rate by 39% in just 1 year on the homepage alone. Okay, so what does this data say? Well, it says that overall the website is doing really good. They've made some major progress, especially with their marketing because they're having so many new users. But the homepage that they used last year was much more effective than the homepage that they're currently using. And those statistics are very clear. Now we can look at other very popular pages because we can see that this one is currently clicked in. We're viewing this range from the pages that has the most views. If you want to view the pages that has the most unique page views or the highest average time on page, we can just click on any of these to change that. But the most regular and effective right now is to look at the pages with the most page views, and that is going to be the home, and it has the highest increase in bounce rate. In fact, if you go down, many other pages, they're decreasing in bounce rate, and this is the kind of statistics we're looking for and that we want to see generally, okay? We can also see an increase in the bounce rate on the store. So that also tells me that there's something off with their store. Either it's going to be the design or it's going to be about the audience that they're targeting who are not really enjoying the store as much right now as in the previous year. So when it comes to these very important pages such as the store and the home page, you don't want to see an increase in bounce rate like this because that means that your visitors aren't enjoying what they see. You need to make the experience better, not worse. So once again, to summarize, you can do this comparison for any of the different reports that we have gone through and learned about in this course. Now, when it comes to comparing month to month, realize that different seasons affect businesses differently. And while it does give great insights, the generally most insightful and actionable information will come from looking at previous years to see what has happened, just like we're doing right now. Now, hopefully, if you've been putting effort into your SEO, you'll be able to see more traffic, for example, which we're seeing in the Google Merchandise Store. Now, understanding reports like this takes the guessing out completely out of your business, which is so important. For now, for example, we realize there is an issue with the homepage. We realize there is an issue with the store. We need to look over, we need to ask why, make changes, and then continue looking at the comparison days to make sure that we're actually having a better bounce rate and not a worse bounce rate. Okay, great. Now in the next lecture, you'll learn to set out annotations to even better understand and analyze the data that you're getting. Hope you're excited. See you there.